this morning I was reading Isaiah chapter 3. I started digging in on the women, how they have been like rebellious and how they have turned away from God. What he says through Isaiah is that women have basically invested in the wrong things. They've become very proud and boastful in and of themselves, but prominently concerning their appearance. The jewelry, the clothes, the hair, highly invested in their appearance. And my heart got a little pricked. But there's a specific verse, I think it's Isaiah 4, where he says, in those days, 7 women will approach one man and say, look, you don't even got to do nothing for us. Just let us bear your name. The commentary that I read was speaking about how women, if they are not careful, they will be so invested in the wrong things, and then they will ultimately marry for the wrong reasons. Does that not sound like the world we live in today? Women who tell a man, I don't need you to do anything for me except, like, don't be a man in my life. I can do whatever for myself. I can provide for myself. I can feed myself. I can take care of myself. I don't need you to do those things for me. But the problem is that's innately what they do. They provide, they protect. So if we tell these men, I don't need you to be a man, we cannot say we're mad at the men for not being men when we are literally telling them don't be a man. It is madness. That's not to say that we can't like fashion. That's not to say that we can't like makeup. That's not to say that we can't invest in ourselves and invest in our appearance. That's not what I got from that. What I got from that was, don't be so invested in your appearance that you refuse to invest in what really truly matters. Now, that being said, I'm starting a new routine with my son. I want him to watch VeggieTales in the mornings. I want him to watch VeggieTales before he goes to school. And I never just go and search. It always just pops up as soon as I open YouTube on the TV. So I open it today. We're watching, and they start sharing a story about a builder, a contractor, who knew to invest in the foundation of the house and take his time on the foundation of the houses and the buildings that he was building, instead of worrying about how it looked. He kept saying to them, no, like, the foundation is the most important part. They didn't want to listen. While I'm sitting there watching it, I'm seeing how what I read this morning and what I was watching with my son literally intersect. What I read this morning was about women and how we need to make sure that the foundation that we are building ourselves up on is solid and firm and secure. Fashion is not secure, it's ever changing. Makeup is not secure, it's ever changing. And let me take a step further and get off of the industries. Your physical body is not a secure thing to build the foundation of your character and your womanhood on. Don't be so focused on your outward appearance that your heart is ugly. But also another thing that I feel like he showed me that I feel I need to say in this video. I'm not saying that men are not being abandoned, but that's not my focus right now. If we look and we pay attention to marriages, we will see that a lot of women are being abandoned and a lot of marriages are crumbling. Part of the reason for that is some of us got married for the wrong reasons. Some of us got married with the wrong idea about marriage. Some of us were more invested in things that don't matter, like our physical appearance, than we were invested in our heart posture as a wife, than we were invested in showing up as a wife, being present in our families, building our homes by wisdom, and we are seeing the fruit of such decisions. We spend more time pouring into ourselves and we don't pour into our husbands the way we should. We spend more time getting to know our friends than we do with our husbands, for real. We spend more time following the culture and the way of the world than we do seeking God concerning our family, concerning our spouse and his needs or his battles. And then when everything comes crashing down, we point the finger and we blame them, or we point the finger and we blame God. Now, I can speak for me. I learned a hard lesson when my husband and I separated, and I had no choice but to yield to the separation. I did not want the separation. Like, we were on the road to divorce, and God literally sat me down one day and said, stop fighting. This is me. I'm doing this. Stop fighting. And I couldn't understand it in the moment. Like, well, God, why would you let it, like, why would you do this? Then after I yielded to the separation, God started showing me the things that were in my heart, things that I contributed to my marriage that I was now reaping the harvest of. And let me also say, what I'm talking about ain't for everybody, but the ones that know, the ones that get it, get it. It was in the separation that God, one, showed me myself, showed me who I am, but also, two, started to reframe and rebuild my mind about what marriage actually is. I had this very fairy tale, romantic idea of marriage, and boy, was I wrong. But it took a hard situation, a wilderness experience. It took all of that for me to get to the point where I was even willing to hear what God had to say, where I could get to a point where I would humble myself and listen to God literally say, Arnesia, you are insecure and that is suffocating your marriage. Arnesia, you are codependent and that's not how I made you. Arnesia, you are my daughter and you are idolizing your husband in a certain way, and you cannot continue in this way. What I believe is going on with marriages is, one, definitely a reflection of what's going on in the spirit. We have walked away from God. We have turned our back to God. We have rebelled against God. The Bible is becoming more than just words on pages to us. The Bible is becoming more than something that our grandparents gave us or our parents tried to teach us. Like, it's becoming very real. For real. But the second thing that I believe is that God is using what's going on to build up a people who will do marriage his way, who will have his mind, who will yield to his design and his will and his purpose, who will humble themselves, who will take themselves out of the equation, who won't be so selfish, who won't be so focused on what do they gain, but instead they will show up as who they are supposed to. And in particular with women, what I have learned and what I have seen, he changes us before he ever changes them, because we end up partnering with him to help build that man up into who he was supposed to be. But it starts with having the proper foundation. It's not just about the marriage. It's not just about the man. It's about womanhood, us walking as women, the women that he has called us to be. We ain't been doing it right. I hope this made sense and it wasn't all over the place. I need to go take my baby to school. Amen, 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 amen.